because the women's spotlight this week in the world pro wrestling, but of course the guys has their own very own spotlight as well. So I will be highlighting two highlights from WWE RAW this past Monday on the USA Network, two highlights from AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday on TBS, and two highlights from WWE Smackdown on Fox this past Friday night. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this fine episode. But before I continue on, follow me on my social media platforms into the Square Circle Podcast on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube. Give me a follow and give me a like and give me a subscribe. Also available on all major podcasting outlets like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. All you have to do is type into the Squared Circle Podcast. By the way, if you have any questions or concerns, maybe you want to reach out into the Square Circle Podcast at gmail.com. That's where you can send me an email the good old-fashioned way. All right, without further ado, folks, let's kick off the show, talk about WWE RAW. It went down this past Monday night on the USA Network, right here on Into the Squared Circle Podcast. All right, before I continue on, let's talk about the men's and women's King of the Rings tournament going down currently as we speak. So let's talk about this past Monday night on Raw and SmackDown. Who advanced to the semifinal? Yeah, semifinals, which is going down this coming week. So we have Gunther defeated Kofi Kingston. So Gunther will advance to the semifinals. And Jey Uso defeated Ilya Dragunov. So this coming, let's see, was it on Raw? We're going to get Gunther versus Jey Uso. And whoever will win this match will move on to the finals in Saudi Arabia for the Kings and Queens of the Ring, PLE, this coming Saturday. Also on SmackDown, we will get Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga in the semifinals. So I'm jumping ahead here. Randy Orton defeated Carmelo Hayes this past Friday by pinfall. And Tama Tonga, how about this? Defeated LA Knight. Yeah. This past Friday on SmackDown. So Orton versus Tama. Oh, this is going to be a hell of a match. This is going to be going down on SmackDown, which I believe SmackDown will be in Saudi Arabia. So it'll probably be a tape show. And, okay, fantasy booking here, folks. Who's going to move on to the finals? Could it be Tama Tonga versus Jey Uso? Yeah, that'd be a good match. Tama Tonga versus Gunther? Yeah, maybe. Or could we have Randy Orton versus Jey Uso? Yeah, there's a chance. Randy Orton versus the Ring General, Gunther. So, I mean, there's so many ways you can do this. Gunther versus Tama. Uso versus Tonga. So there's a lot of stuff that can go down. Man, I love all four guys. Between Gunther and Jey, if I had to pick one, man, I love Jey, but I think Gunther, come on, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. I'm going to go for my boy Gunther, man. He might move on to the finals. Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga. This is going to be tough. This is going to be tough in the semifinals match on SmackDown. Who's going to walk away and move to the finals to the King and Queen of the Ring tournament? Well, oh man, I love Randy. He's a veteran, right? I love Tonga. I love Tama Tonga. He's been following his career in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But, man, I'm going to leave this pick up to you guys. Into the Square Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Let me know what you guys think. Who will move on to the finals? Randy Orton or Tama Tonga? Yeah, we'll let you guys decide. All right, let's talk about the women's Queen of the Ring tournament. So here is the current results. Let's see, this past Monday on Raw, Io Sky defeated Shayna Baszler. Lyra Valkyria defeated Zoe Starks. Over there on SmackDown, Nia Jax defeated Jade Cargill in a no DQ. How about that? That's depressing that Jade's not moving on. And Bianca Belair defeated Tiffany Stratton. So, out of these 4 matches, 2 of them made in my top highlights this week. Can you take a guess which match made in my top highlights? Can you? Well, as of right now, the semifinals for this coming Monday, Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria. And for SmackDown, Nia Jax will face Bianca Belair. Well, out of that match, I'm going to pick Bianca Belair. For the Raw side, I'm going to go for Lyra Valkyria. Yeah, why not, man? She is a young, upcoming star. 23 years old from Dublin, Ireland. She has a big career ahead of her. What a way to get a win and go to the finals? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Io Sky, a former WWE Women's Champion, has been in the business for quite a bit, so she may have a little advantage here, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, speaking of Monday Night Raw, this past Monday, we will talk about my top 2 highlights, of course. Monday, May the 13th of 2024 on the USA Network. And we'll go ahead and plug it in after this quick commercial break right here and into the Squared Circle Podcast. GB's here, and did you know that Into the Squared Circle Podcast is on YouTube? Did you? But yes, it is on YouTube. All you have to do is type in youtube.com/Into the Squared Circle Podcast. That's right, folks. If you're not subscribed, subscribe right now, damn it, so you never miss an episode each and every week, just like this podcast. That's right, folks. If you're on YouTube, you're typing how to change a light bulb or how to replace the batteries in your remote. And since you're there, all you have to do is search Into the Squared Circle Podcast, hit the subscribe, hit the bell button, and you're a part of the family. Join the fastest growing community of pro wrestling independent podcasts on YouTube, Into the Squared Circle Podcast. Subscribe today.
Tonight, I'm thinking you actually say what you're going to say, but say it to somebody's face.
I would love to say it to somebody's face, but if you were listening, CM Punk keeps running away from me every single week. But since you've been a man, you're stepping up to me right now. I'm going to say something positive about you right now, because I know your story. You have a very, very inspirational story. You've worked your arse off for years. You've put a shift in. You paid your dues. You deserve all the success in the world. You just don't deserve to be champion. I mean, my next door neighbor, Dave, has a very inspirational story. Doesn't mean he should be world heavyweight champion. This is a case of the title making the man. The Raw title is in its infant stages. It needs the man to make the title. It needs Drew McIntyre. And you knew you couldn't beat me one-on-one, so you had to use that briefcase and cash in.
Stop. Man, you are delusional, dog. No. You're out here blaming everybody else for your failures. Let me ask you a question. Did you not choose this life? I mean, you chose to be a WWE superstar, right?
I've been a WWE superstar since I was 21. Say what if you think he's a BS champion?
I'm still a champion.
That clip you heard courtesy of WWE.com. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. Boy, what a match that match could have been. Or could be. You know what I'm saying? Man, two giant colossal guys. Kicking off Monday Night Raw this past Monday on the USA Network. It was a great face-to-face promo. And, man, it was great. And my favorite part in this segment where I love Drew McIntyre. He is great. He is growing on me each and every week. Don't you guys agree? Drew McIntyre. I love when the fans chant, "What?" You know, the Stone Cold chant, "What?" Every time someone cuts a promo, "What?" And Drew McIntyre, what he said last week or 2 weeks ago, he's like, if you guys say "what" one more time, that means you guys kiss your own cousins. And the fans are chanting, "What?" And Drew McIntyre's like, you guys are sick. So this past Monday on Raw, the fans were chanting "what?" And Drew McIntyre was like, all right, if you guys say "what" one more time, you guys are saying that Damian Priest is a BS champion. And all the fans in the arena, "What?" And, you are a BS champion, Damian Priest. And Damian Priest countered back by saying, hey, at least I'm still the champion. And the whole crowd was like, oh, just groaned. Because you know Drew McIntyre was a 5-minute champion at WrestleMania. That is funny. This was a hell of a promo. And whenever Drew McIntyre gets healed up, whenever, and if he has a one-on-one match with Damian Priest, which they might be teasing something here, this will be a hell of a match. Two big guys locked up, maybe a SummerSlam. Obviously, Punk is waiting for him. So we got a hot date between CM Punk and Drew in the near future. So we got some little bit of storyline planting seeds here for the near future. SummerSlam is a couple months away, right? In August in Cleveland. So we got a big-time match as we got Clash at the Castle. We got that coming up. So, hell, maybe Punk versus Drew at Clash at the Castle. Pretty good chance that could happen. So, a lot of seeds planting, a lot of good stuff coming up in the WWE between Drew, Damian Priest, and CM Punk, man. A lot of good stuff coming up. By the way, Carlito tried to join the Judgment Day. And Damian Priest's like, nah, bruh. Yeah, you don't belong here. So eventually, Finn Balor and who's his tag team partner? It's not Dirty Dom. Finn Balor and JD McDonough advances a number one contender tag team championship match in the near future. All because Carlito helped them win. So Damian Priest saw that, and he's like, all right, amigo, I like that. This is cool. This is pretty much telling the Judgment Day group, okay, all right, he's kind of helping out. You can hang out for a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see how things will play out with Carlito and the Judgment Day. All right, so let's go to highlight number 2. By the way, that was highlight number 1. Highlight number 2, let's talk about the women's match between Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Starks in a women's qualifying match for the kings and queens of the tournament match. And we discussed about that to kick off the show. And I teased 2 of those matches out of the 4 will feature my top highlights of this week, and this was one of them.
From both of them. Big kick by Stark. Stunning Valkyria. Oh, went for the Z360. Lyra able to counter. Into the Nightwing. Great counter by Valkyria for the win. She advances to the semi.
Lyra was very impressive. By the way, if you watch Monday Night Raw, Lyra had a hell of an entrance. I love the camera shot of her coming out. And I believe her stage entrance on the LED screen was blue, or it was really cool, man. I love the camera shots and what they're doing in the WWE. It's pretty cool. And, man, hell of a match. And I can't wait to see her career be unfolded. I believe this is her first main roster match, or second. I'm not sure what it was, but it's great to see her on the main roster, and she's moving on to the semifinals. So I'm going to root for Lyra, and we'll see what's going to go down in the finals this coming Monday on to the USA Network. Hell of a match, by the way. All right, let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will have 2 highlights for AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday on TBS. Can you take a guess? Yes, it does feature the men's side. Also features on the women's side as well. Keep that in mind after we take this quick commercial break right here and into the Squared Circle Podcast. Hey, yeah, you. I'm watching you. Stop what you're doing. Well, I mean, if you're on the expressway, just don't stop. But this is a commercial. I fooled you. But did you know that I have a secondary podcast? Did you? It's very simple. If you're a fan of rock, you're a fan of heavy metal, you're a fan of classic rock, yeah, I do have a second podcast, but please, keep it a secret. Do not tell anybody, okay? It's called a Lesson in Headbanging Podcast. That's right. If you love to headbang, you love to go into mosh pits, you love to do crowd surfing, you love to hang out in the front row like I do, it's very simple. Get the hottest ticket in town, the hottest concert of the year, a Lesson in Headbanging Podcast. That's right. If you're a fan of rock and roll, that's right. I will do tour reviews, review upcoming tours in the coming year, like 2024, upcoming albums, my album pick of the week. Man, I'm a fan of rock and roll. And if you're a fan of rock, check it out right now, a Lesson in Headbanging Podcast. Yeah, available on all major podcasting outlets, just like this podcast, and available on YouTube as well. A Lesson in Headbanging Podcast. Come on, baby. Join me in the pit. If you dare. Or just hit the follow and hit the like. It's that very simple. A Lesson in Headbanging Podcast available right now. All part of the GSJ Multimedia Productions. If you need help in podcasting, maybe you need help in commercials, maybe you need help videoing some stuff like a commercial for your business or whatnot, GSJMultimedia.com is the place to be. Let your ideas and vision come to life.
Get the hell out of here. Okada. Oh! Low blowby. Referee didn't see it. Oh, brother. Wow, ref never saw that. 2, 3. Very smart. Very effective.
AEW Continental Champion, the Rainmaker.
What a roll jerk all 4 of these men are. Now that Hitler's Cash.
And Bryan Danielson as well.
Yeah, but they're down a man.
Yeah, and they're actually with Dax on his back, probably down 2 right now.
And yeah, that's a good point.
And the Elite perhaps trying to incapacitate Dax Harwood to make sure they'll have a 4-on-2 advantage in Anarchy in the arena. Absolutely, that's the pitfalls of taking a match like this. Darby Allin! Is just outside of his hometown. Seattle now returning to AEW. Is he the 4th for Team AEW?
Well, at the moment he is. What a battle here.
All right, folks, that clip you heard courtesy of AEW.com. Highlight number 1. Oh, man, hell of a match. Dax the Axe Harwood. Yeah, he has a nickname, I guess. But I love Dax, man. Dax and Cash. FTR, one of my favorite tag teams of all time. But you know what? Dax had a single match against one of my other favorite wrestlers, Kushka Okada, the Rainmaker himself, and had a hell of a singles match in the main event. But unfortunately, Dax the Axe Harwood got defeated by Okada. So Okada got the big win. After the match, of course, we have the afterbirth of the match. The Young Bucks, the EVP, yeah, extremely violent people, I guess that's how you call it, came down and started attacking Dax Harwood. Of course, Cash came out and got attacked. But AEW was in Washington. I'm not sure, remember, but all I know is they were in the state of Washington. And they have a lot of hometown heroes, right? They had who was on the show? Well, we got the AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland on the show. We got some Nick Wayne, Washington State representative right there. But we also had a return of a resident of the state of Washington who came out and saved Dax Harwood. And it was Darby Allin. Yeah, you know Darby Allin who go. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm going to laugh about this. But poor Darby got hit by a bus in New York. How that happened, I don't know. But he has returned after being hit by a city bus or a school bus or a charter bus. I'm not sure what kind of bus it is. Maybe a prison bus. He's returned. He came out for the save. And I guess he is the missing link member that's going to be part of the Anarchy of the Arena match at Double or Nothing. So the trifecta is completed. And FTR is going to be teaming up with Danielson. Bryan Danielson, that is. And, by the way, Eddie Kingston got hurt the previous weekend at a New Japan show. I'm not sure if he broke his leg or what, but he is out of the Anarchy in the Arena. So the missing person that's going to fill in his spot is Darby Allin. So that's interesting. Hell of a crew right there. So that was highlight number 1, which was the main event of AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday on TBS. So let's go on to highlight number 2. And it's not a match, but a women's segment between the Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Moné. Oh, man. So, me not talking about it, no good. Let's play the clip. We got a little bit more justice here. Kind of hear what Willow and Mercedes had to say this past Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. So let's go ahead and play this clip here, courtesy of AEW.com. Here we go.
So, CEO, I do respect you. I've said it before, and I really do mean that. I respect you. I respect everything you've done in your career. But I need to know, do you respect this? This is the TBS Championship. It's a championship that celebrates the legacy of professional wrestling. A legacy that dates back over 50 years on this very channel. A legacy built on fighting, on hard work, dedication, and defending. Making a name for yourself in the face of obstacles. That is something that every woman who's held this title represents. That's what my friend Chris Statlander in the back represents. And now I'm the face of TBS. And this smiling face, every time this smiling face walks on down in the ring, you see on my Titantron, nothing matters. Smile anyway. And to me, that means through all the doom and gloom, I look for something to smile for. My smile is my strength. And professional wrestling is just that. And this title is what matters to me. So through all of that, I am not gonna let you just walk into AEW and take that away. Not now, not a Double or Nothing, never.
Now, Willow, you wanna talk about legacy to me? You know, money changes everything is not just a catchphrase, it's a fact. Back in 2015 at Brooklyn, while you were still training, I was out here creating and changing the game forever. You want to talk about dedication? Scratching and clawing your way to the top? What about breaking down the doors and kicking down glass ceilings. That's what I did.
So an excellent clip courtesy of AEW.com. Man, the strong promo from Willow Nightingale, man. She's an excellent babyface. Carrying the TBS World Women's Championship. And, man, she is confident that she will retain. And she will never let go her TBS Women's Champion at Double or Nothing against Mercedes Moné. By the way, she's getting a lot of boos this past Wednesday on TBS. And, fans were wondering if she's going heel. Yeah, she got to. She has that charismatic heel attitude. I'm all about the money. I'm going to come in for the World TBS Champion. It's not the World TBS Champion. The TBS Women's Champion. You get what I'm saying. And, yeah, man, you could tell she's going towards that direction. And that's a big task for her. All right. Willow Nightingale stated in her promo that, last time I faced you, which was New Japan Pro Wrestling for their title, the women's title, I defeated you. I won the title. I walked away. You, Mercedes, you never got up and walked away. You got hurt. So here we are. And we're going to have another date for the TBS Championship on the line on pay-per-view this coming Sunday in Las Vegas. Big-time female women's fight. I can't wait for this match. This is big-time stuff. Willow Nightingale, I've been a fan of her, but the past 2 weeks, her promo's been strong as the champion, and I kind of dig it. I'm pretty excited for this match, and I can't wait for this championship women's match. It's going to be awesome. That was highlight number 2 of AEW Dynamite on TBS. All right, we'll take a quick commercial break, and we will conclude the show talking about WWE Smackdown. As always, 2 highlights. One of them is an awesome kick-ass women's match. Yeah, can you take a guess what it is? Yeah, we'll talk about it right here on Into the Squared Circle Podcast. JB's here, and I want to let you know that Into the Squared Circle Podcast is available on Patreon. Very simple, folks. Go on to patreon.com/Into the Squared Circle Podcast. For $1.99 a month, you are in the executive producer seat, meaning you're in control of the bonus content. Wherever you want to talk about, whenever you want to talk about, and how long. Meaning, you can choose your topic, you can discuss whatever you want, do reviews, have trivia, and yes, I do have prizes for trivia as well. By the way, your name will be featured in every credit for every YouTube video and featured on the very end of the podcast in each episode. $1.99 a month will get you all these perks. Come on, you can't beat that, right? $1.99 a month. What other podcast will allow you to become the executive producer, right? Get your name on the credit for YouTube and podcast. Not a lot of podcasts, but this podcast will. Into the Squared Circle Podcast on Patreon. $1.99. Join us, man. Join us right now, damn it, and subscribe and join the family. Patreon.com/Into the Squared Circle Podcast. All right, welcome back, folks, and let's talk about it's not really a match, right? On the men's side, it's more of a contract signing between the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes and everyone's favorite pro wrestler, Logan Paul, who's the current not undisputed. So let's fix this right. Cody Rhodes, your current WWE champion, or is he an undisputed champion? However you want to call him. I guess he's the undisputed champion since he defeated Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And Logan Paul is your United States champion. So I thought it was going to be a champion versus champion, right? Winner takes all. And apparently this past Friday on SmackDown, Logan Paul had a contract signing with Cody Rhodes to make it a inked official deal. The match is on. this coming Saturday, and Saudi Arabia for the premium live event. But of course, Logan Paul brought a lawyer, of all people. He brought his prime cronies, and he brought a lawyer. And I guess the lawyer was like, well, you know what, Mr. Cody Rhodes, this match will not go down as champion versus champion, so Logan Paul will not put his title on the line. And Cody was like, okay, all right. I mean, this is not necessary. Even Nick Aldis like, man, this is not necessary to have a lawyer present here. Who the hell you think you are? But, Logan Paul signed his revised contract, and he gave it to Cody Rhodes. And eventually the segment ended. Well, I'll play the clip courtesy of WWE.com, and you'll kind of find out how this segment ends. Here we go.
Shot, and the United States champion sent to the floor. Cody Rhodes is on a rampage. Yeah, that's it.
Uh-oh, broccoli head, guys getting it.
So that clip you heard courtesy of WWE.com, Logan Paul scrambling out of there. Yeah, man, Cody want to get his hands on him. But he eventually put one of his prime cronies, or what do you call him, a broccoli? Nick Aldis called his cronies broccoli head. But Cody put one of those guys through a table. Man. Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes. Who's my pick? Well, you got to stay tuned. In a couple days, I'll have my previews and prediction for WWE's Men's and Women's King of the Ring match going down this coming Saturday on the premium live event on Peacock. So it's going to be a great match. I mean, anything that's Cody's involved is a great match. Right? I mean, am I wrong? I mean, there's been some iffy matches, but, with Logan Paul's great. Cody Rhodes great. You put 2 and 2, you have a great match. And I can't wait for it. So that was highlight number 1. Let's hop on over to highlight number 2. And this is the final highlight of the podcast. It's a women's match. Remember, Women's of the Week? And it was the kickoff Smackdown. I enjoyed this match a lot. The hell of a wrestling match. Again, qualifier match. And we talked about in the top of the show who I picked. And it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton.
And a sickening thud with the forearm across the chest. Bianca has Stratton up. KOD, but the sure-footed Stratton able to avoid the impact.
That Olympic-level gymnastic skills of Stratton, keeping her in the fight for now.
Big double stomp into the cover. Bit of a lackadaisical cover by Tiffany Stratton. Stratton utilizing her otherworldly athleticism to no avail. Waistlock by Belair. Big German suplex. Scrambling into the cover is Bianca. Stratton, one of the prettiest moonsault ever.
Ready to pounce is Belair. Take 2 on the KOD.
On one good leg. KOD.
And again, never judge a book by its cover. Because, man, Tiffany Stratton, she looks like a Barbie, but damn, she can wrestle. And she had a hell of a match. And there was some little points in the match where I thought Tiffany Stratton was going to outbeat Bianca. And as that clip you heard, Bianca gave the KOD, the kiss of death, her finishing move to Tiffany Stratton. And Bianca Belair moves on to the finals this coming Friday on SmackDown. And what a match. What a great women's wrestling match. What's the bitch about it? So great week of women's wrestling all across the board. And, the spotlight on them because they're busting their ass off just like the men's. So, pretty exciting time to be a pro wrestling fan. All right, folks, stay tuned within the next couple days. And, I'll have my previews and predictions for WWE men's and women's, or was it Kings and Queens, the Ring premium live event going down this coming Saturday on the Peacock. And also this coming Sunday, AEW Double or Nothing at pay-per-view. So back-to-back awesome events. Both are in the deserts. Just two different locations. Saudi Arabia, Las Vegas. So we're going to have a doubleheader coming up this coming week. All right, folks. Hope you had a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll talk to you guys midweek and have my previous prediction. A big show coming up for WWE and AEW. So a lot of good stuff in the world of pro wrestling. And again, if you want to keep up with the news and other stuff, this breaking news, check out my official X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. All you have to do is type in Into the Square Circle Podcast. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a subscribe. If you made it this far and you listen through podcasts, thank you, and subscribe. Give me a 5-star review on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. All you have to do is type in Into the Square Circle Podcast. Give me a follow, give me a subscribe. As always, patreon.com/Into the Square Circle Podcast. $1.99 a month will give you all the access to all the previous episodes, plus you get bonus content because you choose what you want to talk about in the bonus content. You want to talk about trivia, wherever you want to talk about, $1.99 a month. Also will give you an end credit right here on the podcast and on YouTube. So subscribe today on Patreon. So, by the way, a Lesson in Headbanging podcast, my secondary podcast. If you're a fan of rock and heavy metal, stay tuned. Yeah, this past Wednesday, I went to see one of my favorite metal bands of all time, Mudvayne. Oh, yeah, hell of a show. Drove up to Milwaukee. Excellent show. Excellent mosh pitting, as always, and a lot of headbanging, of course. So stay tuned on the Lesson in Headbanging podcast, available on all major podcasts and outlets, also on YouTube. Give me a like and give me a follow. All right, folks. Happy wrestling. Be safe, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody.